It was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Be like
forward.
a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have
Corrupt
sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
My name is Monde Sitole from Kailicha.
My name is Monde Kula from Kuyasa, Kailicha.
My name is Tandikaya Ngosani from Kailicha.
My name is Sinathemba Matyobe from Saipi, Kailicha.
My name is Masa May from Emakhaza, Kailicha.
What is happening is that when they are campaigning for our votes, they come to our streets and hug all people and do everything, doing door-to-doors. Talking about Helen Zille, Cyril Ramaphosa, and all those big-name politicians. They are walking in our streets and making promises. For example, I think it was the 95th birthday of ANC in 2005, if I'm not mistaken. It was here in Athlone Stadium. I was there. I was in Marshall. Thabo Mbeki, who was the president back then, says, by 2007, there will be no packet system in South Africa. By 2014, there will be no shack in South Africa. Here we are today. There are organizations such as Social Justice Coalition who are still campaigning, advocating for umshengu and the packet system that is happening in our areas, especially in our poor black areas. And there's also shacks all over South Africa.
What really strikes my mind, it's a say that says people shall govern. I think one of those statements, it's really deceiving the masses on the ground. Because listen to what Nethemba is saying. Like, it has been said for years that we will be out of this poverty. We'll be out of this system of using like porta packet system and all these things. But in actual fact, that doesn't happen. So I think the failure for us as people is to challenge the government and started to be like a kind of executing them and ask them, where are these promises that you are promising us? Because you talk about these things, but you are not doing them. It's nice to talk, but when it comes to action, you don't follow what you are saying. Now the problem we are facing now are those challenges.
It's so important when that promise is made, you also as an individual make a promise, a pledge to able to then meet halfway that dream to happen or that promise to happen. Because it's not done solely by him, but it's done by the collective and the whole. And therefore, it's so important within whatever structure there is, if a person or if a president is making a statement, that also the community individually might write their statement, their pledges for the next 30 years. This is what we are putting ourselves to do, in able to change and know that the place that we're living in, for it to change, we have to do the work, and therefore we could able to wait for the resources from government. So it's so important that you do the effort, and therefore that the other helps. So for me, is that it's so important in terms of the country itself that individuals never took that stand. They didn't take that stand, and our parents, they are angry. Especially I was speaking to my father. He was laying there yesterday, and he was saying to me that he doesn't know what to do anymore because he feels helpless.
As long as in South Africa we still have to go to town and protest in order for the things to be heard, South Africa is still there's a lot needs to be done. Because even if we are peacefully protesting for our rights, but the only way government responds is the same way that apartheid government responds to the people when they are protesting for their rights. There will be police shooting at people and stuff, just as the same way happened in Sharpeville and other days back then. So I do believe as long as South Africa being led by those old age dudes in that parliament who call themselves freedom fighters of some sort, the ex-convicts, South Africa still needs to be restructured. Even our constitution needs to be revisited and endorsed and amended, because there's a lot in the constitution of South Africa that has not been met.
We cannot say that the votes and all these things, they can change. They are not bringing a change. They are making things worse, because we are facing the same conditions of living in the shacks and in the the township. And I'm not saying like if to live this, it's a township, it's bad. No, it's not bad. But the change, it's depending on the people who are living there.
On a vote issue, I would say that the old people, the people who were present at the time of the apartheid, and the other things that were happening, those racial segregations, are going to still vote for ANC. Because to them, it's a better life than what they were experiencing back then. So to the young people, the new generation that is coming up, it sees no changes because there's still some sort of social challenges that are existing within the society. So the vote is useless to them.
I'm not saying that politics is not relevant, but if we're talking about the greater development of Africa, I don't think politics will be a major influencer in the history. I think we need to invest more skills, money, funds on young people, on young enterprises. We're seeing young people now getting out of employment and creating their own enterprises.
I can't agree more with Mondo when he says we can't put politics on forefront of everything, because I believe everything is politics. Going to the toilet is politics. Using a porta is a political matter. Everything is politics. Taking a spoon, putting it in your mouth is a politics. Because if you are unemployed, that's a political matter. You can't put a food on a table. So I believe everything is political based.
One of the things that happened within our country, there were no emphasis done in terms of doing more restorative justice and also reconciliation as it's put within our society and so within South Africa also. But I also would guess that not much was done into unifying the country after that. I think not emphasis was put into it as a long-term plan and implementation on a more grounder level. And also looking at economically, because people could be liberated in our country in terms of economically, but if we still hold the scent of hatred within us, and that we're able to grow.
If we are really concerned about the poverty that we face, if you are really concerned about illiteracy, we will do anything in our power, and after doing anything in our power, then we go complain, but doing efforts in this also. Because now there's time in place. Yeah. We're going to say 9 years, no bucket system, not that, no houses.
I just want to add something. I just want to go to something. Recently, the other day, I saw two kids who are in high school. And those kids I asked them, do they go to school? They said yes. One of them goes to Bedlumko, the other one goes at Joe Slover. And they were busy opening up a trench in one of the houses that will be built there. Mm-hmm. And I was asking them, what are you doing? So they said, no, we see most of the time that houses are built, and most of the time we don't assist and help. Because the house that they were building there is actually their house. They live there. So they said they wanted to, because they want to learn that. And for me, it's all about also how do you then assist in yourself building the school, because those kids are helping themselves, are helping to build their own house. Empowering themselves at the same time. And therefore, what are the structures in place in our own communities where we can able to build our own houses? I'll make you a typical example. Most of the time, when government comes here, he builds houses. He comes with and he says, okay, I'm going to build you a house. You can able to choose and say, listen, I don't want the plan. I'm going to make my own plan. Government permits that, where you can able to build your own plan and say, I want this kind of house. And therefore, we accept everything that government brings to us without creatively thinking we can take our own responsibility. Okay. In our country, we've had rights, but we don't take responsibility.
It's very hard for someone to resist what is going to be provided to him for free. Mm-hmm. It's more especially when it comes from a different condition, which is the condition of the people who are living in RR section.
Amela Munda, how can you build a house when you don't have a land? First, you must have a land in order to build a house. You can't build a house in the air. So the land has not been distributed to us properly. There will be no houses. Look at us. At the 30 years of age, you're still living at the backyard of your home, in a shack, because there's no land to put your shack so that you may be recognized as the people who don't have a house.
And you only rely on the Department of Human Settlement
for your you then have the ability to build your own shack. You took material and you built your own shack. Like lots of people are building their own shacks and their own houses. But how can you not able to build your own brick house and learn to do that?
Where? I'm talking about the basic rights. A right to shelter.
No, on the Bill of Rights of South Africa.
But that depends on men.
Where am I going to have a shelter when I don't have a land?
But when you speak about rights, the thing is that I want to ask, when you talk about right, how do you couple that with the responsibility?
Yes,
you have the right, and what is your responsibility?
That land belongs to someone else. Old man who's staying there in America doing nothing about that land. We attempted to take that land.
Listen. You don't have to ask Snetema personally, because Snetema personally, maybe he does want to take a responsibility personally. But there are some people who are trying to make means to get the space to build the shelters. Yeah. But for example, I will take you to an example of the people who are living in Marikana. Marikana is close in Lower. It is named after the incident of the police that shot people in the mining sector. So these people have come to build the shacks there. But then what happened, what was the response of the government? Was that these people needed to be evicted because that's the private land. It's not their land. So how are you expecting people to come out and go and build on a free spaces? Because then some of these spaces are not a land where you can build somewhere or you can build a home, because they are the wetland. So when people are going to be evicted in a wetland, what does it entails to you as a person who's saying that people should be responsible of what they are doing?
This notion of rainbow nation, which I think is not working now, because we've got a big challenge of racism anyway. So even if we read the newspapers of South Africa, we get this hate speech, and I don't want to go to some of the things that we read even from the literature that the other artists have write. It's about critique the system the way it is, because the democracy on its own allows us to do that. So why should not? So we are in a process of building it. But for me, like, it's about everything must fall, man, because it's too much. It's coming here now.
We are in a fall of the Rainbow Nation, and this new philosophical sense of fallism that has been produced by the radical students, the radical movements that are developing within the context of South Africa. We are in a sort of a typical point where people are getting frustrated in trying to voice out their frustrations.
One of the things that fascinates me within the time of the Truth and Reconciliation, which was meant also to heal the wounds of this country, to start healing the wounds, is that most of the white people, as you know, as it was and research was done, most of the white people during Truth and Reconciliation Commission, when it was televised in the entire country, most of the white people turned off their television when everyone else, when most of the black people were telling their stories, because they didn't want to deal with guilt and shame, And I guess also within the white community, most of the white people are still handling that, a sense of guilt and the shame of what they as a race or what was done in their name unto black people. They still carry that. And therefore, for us black people, we still hold a sense of blaming what was happened, instead of also working ways on how to heal ourselves. And I guess also for me as a country, we need to start embarking on programs and also programs that go deeply within our family structures, because colonialism also broke the family structures. So we have to look at that and able to then heal those parts of our families and our family structures and our cultural, because our culture was stripped off and therefore replaced with religion. And therefore religion also was another attempt to then break, and also break what you call the philosophy of our culture was Ubuntu, which was then minimized to human kindness. Actually, it was a philosophy of life and how to live together. So religion replaced Ubuntu. So for me as a country, we're in a place where it's an interesting time for us to start working on how to build our country as a whole.
My dream is a healthy, functioning, inclusive, integrated, jovial country.
My dream would be to have a country where everyone is willing and able to determine what is best for the country and determine what is best for him as an individual.
My dream, I currently see a loving and kind society where everyone lives in collaborative efforts in building a society.
My dream is to see a friendly South Africa, especially to the ex-convicts, because in South Africa, if you have once been convicted, you're unemployable.
My dream as an artist, writer, is to provoke the minds of the young people and make them challenge the whatever that is there in the authority.
Yazi, you should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong. You should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong.
The bucket system that is happening in our areas, especially in our poor black areas. And there's also shacks all over South Africa.
What really strikes my mind, it's a say that says people shall govern. I think one of those statements, it's really deceiving the masses on the ground. Because listen to what Nesnetiamba is saying.
Come to our streets and hug all people and do everything, doing door-to-doors. Talking about Helen Zille, Cyril Ramaphosa, and all those big-name politicians. They are walking in our streets and making promises. For example, I think it was the 95th birthday of ANC in 2005, if I'm not mistaken. It was here in Athlone Stadium.
Mwende Kula from Kuyasa, Kailicha.
My name is Tandikaya Ngosani from Kailicha.
My name is Sinathemba Makyobe from Saipi, Kailicha.
My name is Masa May from Emakhaza, Kailicha.
What is happening is that when they are campaigning for our votes, they was there. I was in Marshall. Thabo Mbeki, who was the president back then, says by 2007 there will be no bucket system in South Africa. By 2014 there will be no shack in South Africa. Here we are today. There are organizations such as Social Justice Coalition who are still campaigning, advocating for Umshengu.
It was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move forward.
A horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have
Corrupt
sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
My name is Monde Sitole from Kailicha.
My name is